What were we gonna say again?
Welcome to Midweek Online.
Like and share this video.
We can't wait to see everyone.
Thanks for joining us today.
Reach out to the Avenue students to find out how you can get connected today.
Sun was dead, the Savior of the world was fallen. His body on the cross, his blood poured out for us, the weight of every curse upon him. Breath he gave as heaven looked away. The Son of God was laid in darkness. A battle in the grave, the war on death was waged. The power of hell forever broken. The ground began to shake. sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, we sing hallelujah, the Lamb is and we sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, the Lamb is overcome. Oh, we sing hallelujah, oh, we sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, the Lamb is overcome. Oh, we sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, the Lamb is overcome. Oh, we sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, and we sing hallelujah, the Lamb is overcome. Forever He is glorified. Forever He is lifted high. Forever He is risen. He is alive. Oh, He is
Avenue students, welcome to Midweek Online. Thanks for joining us. Like and share this video. We can't wait to see everyone.
Avenue students, welcome again. This is week 6 of doing this online. Can you imagine? It's been almost 8 weeks since we've met in our physical location together. Guys, I miss you guys. And I know this is some difficult times. We're going to get through this, and we're going to be better off. And we're continuing today our love-hate series. Leighton did an incredible job last week, so we're going to continue there. Let me ask you this. Have you ever felt thankful that one of your friends gave you a heads up, even whenever it was awkward, like it was uncomfortable, but you knew that they said what they said because they were looking out for you? That could have been like, hey, bro, just so you know, your zipper's down, or maybe, it happens to me all the time, you got mustard on your forehead. I'm not real sure how you got mustard on your forehead, but you did get mustard on your forehead, just letting you know. Like, I think we've all had these moments, and no one likes hearing that you've got toilet paper stuck to the back of your shoe, but you're grateful that that person spoke up and said something because it spared you from being embarrassed. Now, I want you to think about the other side of all of this, the opposite side. Have you ever known that you needed to have a conversation with someone, but you just didn't know what to say or how to say it? Like, it's one thing to tell someone that their zipper's down, but to have those bigger topics of discussion, it's a little bit more difficult. Like how do you tell a friend that they're in a relationship with someone that's not good for them? Like, how do you go to a friend and let them know that they're making some really, really dumb decisions? See, it's those instances that are beyond difficult. Beyond difficult. So what do you say? What do we do? Usually what we do is we avoid those conversations altogether. We don't want to talk about it. We don't want to have those conversations, so we don't want to end a relationship that's there. We don't want to make anybody mad. For some of you, you go, well, Chad, I can't say anything because if I say something, they're going to know that I've made the same decisions, and they're going to call me a hypocrite. So I can't even talk about it, Chad. Others of you would say, well, you know what? I can talk about it and I can tell them what's wrong about what they're doing, but they're not going to listen to me. Or maybe you're watching, you're like, no, I know I need to say something. I just don't know what to say. I think for some of you, you thrive on these situations. Like you don't care about speaking up. You love the opportunity to say something and speak truth, and you don't care what they think. But the problem with this is, oftentimes you can speak the truth, but it not be heard because of the way you said it. So how do we deal with this? See, I think the truth is we've all had these moments in our life where we've gone, okay, I need to have these conversations, but I just don't know how to handle it. So what if we were able to approach these difficult conversations and learn a way to handle them? See, no one wants to be known as the hater. No one wants to be the friend that looks like they have it all together on the outside, and all they do is throw shade on the friends that are in their life. So I think we could all agree that we all want to be known for other reasons, known for being a friend or a family member that loves each other. So when it comes to being a friend who looks out for others, how do we do that? How do we handle those conversations? Last week, Leighton threw down an incredible message on how we should be all about love. And who wouldn't want to be known for being a person who is known for being all about love? I mean, it's one thing to feel tough, and it's another thing to be a trendy thing to throw hate on other people. But I think we all know it's better to be known for someone who loves others. But if love is our goal, think about this. If love is our goal, and we've got people in our life today that are making some poor decisions, like decisions that are hurting themselves or hurting others, it's dangerous. What do we do? You know, our culture says today that we should just avoid it altogether, that we should just move on, that, hey, listen, that's their life. They can make the decisions for their life that they want to make. Who are we to judge? But I think deep down, we know that that's not the right thing to do, especially with the people that we're closest to, the people that we love. So what do? Paul talks a little bit about this topic for a little bit. He writes a letter to the church of Galatia, and he writes this, and I think he wants us to understand, how do we handle these tough conversations, these tough situations? And I want you to see what he says here in Galatians chapter 6, verse 1. It says, "Dear brothers and sisters, if another believer is overcome by sin, you who are godly should gently and humbly," I'm going to say that again, "you who are godly should gently and humbly help that person back onto the right path. And be careful not to fall into the same temptation yourself." Paul's saying, hey, believers, just so you know, if you have a friend that shares the same values that you do, and if they slip and they fall and they find themselves in a harmful situation, that we have a responsibility as believers and as friends of that person to go alongside them and help them get back on the right path, to help walk with them. And I think he's actually saying that we have an obligation to just do more than say something, but we're called to do something. Now, I want to pump the brakes for just a second. I want to be very clear here. Paul isn't saying a lot here, too. Paul isn't saying that we're personally responsible for the decisions and the choices that those friends and those family members make. He's not saying that at all. He's not telling you to put yourself in a bad situation in order to help your friends. He's not saying that at all. See, wisdom in those circumstances, in those situations, is a must, guys. It's a must. See, the point is, and I think according to Paul, with humility and with gentleness, we have an obligation to walk alongside those people in our life that are maybe in a tough spot, who are maybe making some tough decisions, that we have an obligation to walk alongside them to help get them back on the right path. But how do we do that? Well, Paul continues for just a little bit. He says this in verse 2, "Share each other's burdens, and in this way obey the law of Christ." So how do we get them back on track? He says share and carry each other's burdens. Carry each other's burdens. Now, in high school, my parents bought me a bench press. And I remember setting up the bench press in my room. And man, 2 weeks into this bad boy, I'm putting my clothes on my weight bench. And I remember one day I'm going and I'm like, you know what, I need to work out. So I put on a lot of weight and I'm thinking, man, I'm about to pump. I was feeling it, guys. I was like, man, I'm about to throw down some heavy weight today. I get underneath the bar. I pick the weight up. It hits my chest and it stays there. And I remember it was in that moment that I went, I really need a spotter here. Like, I'm in trouble. What do? I've got this weight on my chest. I don't know what to do. I ended up like doing some kind of movement where the weight falls off the bench. It makes this loud noise. And I knew that I had to get up and act pretty quickly because my parents were going to come through the door. And sure enough, they come through the door and I'm standing up and I'm like, I'm just doing some curls with this weight. I know it's a lot of weight, but I'm really strong. And whenever I let it down, it made that loud noise. But you know, I learned in this moment, right, that I needed a spotter. I needed someone to help pick up the weight whenever it was too heavy for me. And I think that's what Paul is talking about here. See, Paul, he cared deeply for the people of Galatia. And I think that's why he wrote what he did. See, he knew that the most loving thing to do is not always the easiest thing to do. But we owe it to each other to speak up. We need each other, guys. Not just to point out whenever someone gets off track, but to walk alongside them and to carry their burdens with them. See, as followers of Jesus, we've got to do more than just point out when someone does something wrong. See, we have to make ourselves available to be spotters in people's lives, to help make right where things maybe have gone wrong, to just not just point fingers, but to carry burdens. Some of you, again, are like, Chad, you don't understand. I'm not afraid to speak up. Like, I don't give a rip what people think about what I say. And for those who feel this way, Paul snuck in a couple of words that I think you need to hear. He says this, to do this with gentleness and with humility. Meaning, what we say is just as important as how we say it, guys. See, the loving act is not to sound judgmental or self-righteous or arrogant. He's calling us to be kind, to be helpful, to be encouraging, to show those people in our lives that we care for them and we're willing to walk alongside them. See, guys, hard conversations, they're not easy. But not having those hard conversations, it's not loving either. And those who thrive on those hard conversations, those who love having conversations where you get to make someone feel really, really bad about themselves, you know what? That's not loving either. See, the point is not about the conversation, really. The point is asking this question, am I showing love in how I'm treating others? See, I believe that love pushes us to talk about difficult things. I believe love pushes us to have conversations that are hard, but we get to respond in a compassionate way. That's what love does, guys. Love is all about sharing and carrying the burdens of others. So what does this look like for us? You're at home, and a lot of you already know that you need to have that conversation that's really difficult with someone. You know you need to have that conversation, so how do you handle it? What are you supposed to do? And if we're going to have this identity as a person who loves others, then I think we need to remember this, that we've got to let love be our filter. We've got to let love be our filter. One of the things that I love getting to do with my kids is getting on my phone and having them next to me and putting a filter on my phone, and they get in the camera and we make faces, and no matter where you look, no matter who's in the camera, we look different, and it's fun. See, I think the same is true whenever we have this filter of love, that no matter who's in the camera, no matter where we're looking, that we look different because of love. Because of love, we look different. So when it comes to helping our friends that are maybe headed down an unhealthy direction, you can become known as someone who loves by filtering the things that we say and filtering our actions. See, I believe when we help someone find or make a different choice than what they've been making, We do it even though it feels a little bit awkward. When we encourage someone else to maybe change their behavior, and we do it in a way that's loving and not judgmental. When we see someone take a step towards the right direction and we celebrate with them and we show kindness to them and we give them a high five, we do this. Why? Because that's what love does. We've got a filter of love in our life. So what is this filter of love? What does it need to be applied to? I think there's a few ways. We've got to let love be the filter for our involvement. Let love be the filter for our involvement. There's some of you right now that you're asking this question, do I even need to be involved? Do I even need to be involved? And the question that you've got to ask yourself is this: what's the most loving thing that I can do? Because I believe this question is a gut check to our motives. Because if love is not the motive behind your involvement, then you don't need to do it at all. If you ask yourself, no, I'm not doing this out of love, I'm doing it for all these different reasons, then it's not your next step. You don't need to be involved. But if love is your motive, take the next step. Have that conversation. Act now. For some of you, you need to invite small group leaders or leaders in your life to help you in this decision. It's a tough one. But if you know that love is your motive to get involved, you need to act and you need to make it happen. And once you've done that, you're ready to take the next step. And you need to let love be the filter for your words. Let love be the filter for your words. Guys, our words can screw things up. So it's so important that we start asking ourselves this question right here. Hey, what would I want someone to say to me in this situation? What would I want someone to speak into me into this situation? When we filter our words through love, you're going to stop throwing shade at people. So you understand that it's not all about you being right and them being wrong. It's speaking love into their life and understanding that you're willing to go the extra mile, to walk alongside them, to be that spotter in their life, that you're not going anywhere, that you love them. It's not about us at all. It's about them. And once you get to that place, then we've got to let love be the filter for our actions and our reactions. Let love be the filter for our actions and our reactions. There's some of you right now that you know that you've got some friends that are in some really deep stuff, and that your words aren't going to be enough, but your actions are going to be so crucial. So the question for you is, what would I want someone to do for me? How would I want someone to show love to me through their actions if I were in this situation? Would I want them to keep their phone handy so that if I needed to call them and talk to them, that they would be there? Would I need them to be available, that if I was stuck in a situation where I needed to get out of it, that they would show up in a heartbeat to be there for me? Would I need that person to go to an adult and talk to them because I know that the situation is far greater than what they can handle, so I need them to go to somebody and talk to somebody for me? See, it's in these moments where filtering and letting love be our filter through our actions will wind up showing them that we're willing to walk alongside them, to carry their burden, to be their spotter. Today, as we end, who's that conversation that you need to have with? Who do you need to talk with today? My prayer is that you would filter it all with love. If they were to look at us, they would know, man, Chad he's talking to me and he's speaking up because he loves me and because he's got my back. He's not doing it because he wants to throw hate, but man, he cares for me and he's being that spotter in my life. Guys, man, I love you. And our goal here is to be known here at Avenue Students as people who follow Jesus, but who love others and reach others. So that's my challenge to you this week. Be a person who filters all of our actions, all of our words through this filter of love. Let's pray. God, we love you. I thank you so much for these students and even these adults that are online with us right now. God, I pray that we would be people that would be known for our love for each other. That if there's conversations that need to be had or actions that need to be made, that we would do that and we wouldn't hesitate because we love each other. We deserve that. God, we love you, and we just thank you so much for an opportunity in this really crazy scenario to just be able to lean into you for just a little bit. But we would be wasting our time today if we were to just come on and we would learn a good truth but not apply it into our life. So God, I pray that as we log off, as we sign out, that we would put this into action right now. God, we love you and we trust you. It's in your son's name we pray. Amen.
Avenue students, thank you so much for joining us for Midweek this week. Hey, check out all of our resources we have for you online. Follow along with our devotionals that we're posting on theavenuechurch.com. Hey, also, we want to stay connected with you. So if you would, shoot a little story of yourself, telling us how God has been working in your lives during this time. Let us know. Send those videos in to our Instagram DM or find us on Facebook and send us your videos. And then also, if you want to be featured in next week's midweek video, then we want you to send in any videos of some accomplishments that you maybe had, maybe some mad trick shots that you've been putting together during this time. Maybe you've got some TikToks that you've been working on. Whatever you've got, we want to feature you next week. So send us your videos to our Instagram, our DM, or on Facebook. We'd love to show you on Midweek.